best one on there.
That is pretty dope, man. Speaking of dope, we back. We back at it like a crack addict. What is going on, everybody?
What is going to kick us off the air?
You got one like on it. You got one like for that comment already.
Can we get a like for that comment?
You got a like for that comment already.
How original was that? Who starts a podcast like that but us, right? What is going on, everybody? It's Nicodemus, the king of indies himself, and welcome to episode 5 of the Trophy Life Podcast, your premier podcast for all things PlayStation, ladies and gentlemen. And today we got another great show for you guys. Going to be talking about some PlayStation games because we are gamers and that is what we do. But before we move any further, let me go ahead and introduce our other host for tonight, which is every time we do this. I don't know why I said for tonight, but let's go with my man, the British Beef. What is going on, bro?
Yo. How we doing, Tick Nation? It is your boy Chris here. I am here to talk about Trash Effect.
Oh, damn. What?
Damn it. Yeah, did you put that as the title? You put that as the title. No, you haven't put that as the title.
I did not put that as the title, Chris.
Well, it still works, I think.
Yeah, do you know what? I thought that was a really good title, Nick, and you didn't go for it.
Yeah, you should have used the title.
He was avoiding the clickbait.
I was avoiding the clickbait, and the problem
love a bit of clickbait.
Don't go along with calling this game trash. I was trying to avoid all
PlayStation fans get enough problems. You should have just kept it going. It's all right. It would have been.
No, you should have called it "We've Got More Than Controllers." Come on, if you want to get real topical about it.
Oh damn! Yeah.
Oh wow.
Chris is going in tonight, bro.
110%. 110%. I'm going for it.
Let's go.
Do it. Right. Who's up next?
Who can follow that? My man Kevin. What's going on, man?
Oh, why'd you have to put me after that?
Oh.
I can't top that. The aggression. Hey,
my British beef, man. I tell you, I got beef.
He's got beef, bro.
I got beef.
Hey everyone, Kevin here. I decided to purchase Horizon Zero Dawn this week.
Yay!
So I have it, and I got it for $3. So I'm very proud about that fact.
How?
GameStop. I had several games that I beat, and I traded those in, and they gave me 30% extra trading credit. So it totaled to $3. So I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Nice.
How many games did you trade in? Like 100?
No, I traded in 3.
I bet it's pretty bad.
Part.
I don't know why you people still shop at GameStop. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Occasionally they have good deals. Occasionally. Or yeah, when you need cash.
GameStop is known for ass rape. Anyway, let's get to our guest.
This whole thing has escalated way too far, and it's only been 2 minutes.
Can we start again? Is that possible?
Rewind. Nah, man.
David.
I told you, man, we keeping it raw. I guess for the evening, I want to introduce a special guest. This is David. He works for TickGN.com. He is a writer and one of the greatest editors on the planet on our website. You know what I'm saying? He also reviews games, you know what I'm saying, for the site as well. So David, tell everybody everything about yourself that I haven't already.
California boy, plays video games, work construction, and I apparently the greatest now editor. I'll put that on my Twitter. That's all I do. I'll play games, hang out with my family, and go to work. Not much to it.
That's what's up. That sounds like a good life, actually.
It actually is pretty damn good, but
it is pretty good. Pretty good. Minus the going to work part. I'm trying to retire, and I'm not even 40 yet. I'm trying to figure out a way to not work, but I guess that's the lazy American.
I think everybody's trying to do that.
I think we'd all love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the dream. That is the dream. So games. A lot of games out. It's not stopping right now. So I want to know what games are you guys playing this week? Anybody, I don't care who.
David starts off.
I'm jumping into Ghost Recon Wildlands. That's what I'm doing. That's what the time I have for, and I mean it's kind of shitty, but I still want to play it. It's not that great.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was gonna review it and write a review for it, but I can't be like I can't write a review for it because I can't. It's not that good.
So
it's number one in the UK at the moment for sales. So somebody must think it's good.
what's wrong
Somebody
with
must
it?
love it.
What's wrong with it so far?
It's just awkward. You're always stuck with your squad. You try to go off by yourself for 5 minutes, you die instantly. You just get destroyed. Yeah, no, it's not some kind of game. I mean, you have to have a lot of patience, and I don't. So that's, I think, the biggest problem I have with it.
Maybe you'll like it a little bit after you put more time into it, huh?
Yeah, I kind of hope so. I mean, I just got from Watch Dogs 2 to this, so hopefully.
My brother sent me a text. He was like, "Man, you need to go get this game and play with us and stuff." I'm like, it's like I don't know, man. I'm not really into like multiplayer, like online multiplayer type games like that. So
it's like The Division in a way that you're forced to play with other people.
Nope.
But they throw in the bots, so you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. You get a squad, but you have to work with them. So it kind of it's not for everybody.
Yeah, I got burnt from Destiny and The Division for games like that. So I'm not even ready.
It's if you're not into the Destiny scene.
No, I'm not ready to get back into that. So no, you didn't set enough. You just cost them a purchase. That not getting.
So
it.
I spent $8 on it on Amazon. I'm fine. Yeah.
What else you been playing, sir?
I've been Ease Origin, trying to review that game. Playing that on the PS4.
Dope.
That's a pretty good game.
10 out of 10 from TickGN?
9 out of 10. I'll say 9 out of 10.
Like a 9 out of 10? Okay.
Yeah, no, really. Yeah, no, it is actually pretty deep game. I mean, the gameplay is actually pretty easy on the normal mode. You got the different characters. So I got the mage right now. I just destroy everybody. But then when I get to the higher levels, I get my ass kicked, and then I have to go back and grind some more and do a little bit and kind of rethink my strategy. So you kind of have to think about it in that game. You can't just blindly go in and destroy everything.
Nice. I mean, it's an old school game or whatever, right? It's like a remaster or remake.
It's basically a remastered port from a Japanese 2006 Japanese PC game. That's what it is, and it's set 700 years before the first Ys game. So if you're a fan of the series, you're gonna love it because it's all the backstory. That's what it covers.
Is this a PlayStation exclusive?
And yeah, it's gonna be. Well, it's been on Steam. I don't think it's on Xbox. I don't know.
It's a PlayStation exclusive. It counts. Yeah. It's not on Xbox. Hooray! All right.
Yeah.
So
it's coming to Vita next. That's the next goal.
PlayStation exclusive. There we go. Another one.
There we go.
British Beef. What you been playing, man?
Bro. Well, surprise, more Horizon.
He's still on it.
The game's good, and I'm like Fame at the moment. I want to play it as much as I can before I can complete it. Like you feel like you're getting pretty close, but you're like, I've got to do everything before I do it.
I seen a warning though. I seen a warning that if you like farm too much and like when you get to the end and stuff, it's not gonna be as fun. It's not gonna be challenging. So they said you gotta be careful with that.
That's if you get the super armor that you have to find with the power cores. Supposedly, it's almost too powerful for the ending, but we'll see. I haven't bothered chasing after that. I'm just quite enjoying the rest of the game and the hunting challenges, etc. I've been playing a little bit of. I played the intro of Hitman. I picked up the first episode of Hitman. I'm really enjoying it. Actually, it's pretty cool. It feels like there's no real punishment for dying or doing things wrong. You can really kind of get away, and you can try out different missions in different ways. So there's also that gives you an option of 10 challenges to do, and you don't have to do them all in one go. You can do them over multiple goes, which is enjoyable because sometimes you just want to go crazy and get a machine gun out and be completely unstealthy and Hitman-like. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'll see how it goes. I might purchase the rest of the season. I've had a little go at Inside as well, which I kind of skipped last year.
Okay, but that's a pretty good game. I do recommend that game.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed what I've played so far. It seems very, very good from the guys that did Limbo. So yeah, that's like a decent indie title. And then I purchased Fallout 4, which I've already got on a certain other console, but I never play it. And it was cheap, so I thought I'd pick that up. I'm just getting back into the wasteland. But I've also, just to finish off, I've just pre-ordered a couple of games as well. Parappa the Rapper had to be done.
Oh,
childhood.
There we go.
Yeah.
Pre-ordered that bad boy. And I've just seen on the store before I came online that Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale's available now.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Serious?
it just come
yeah,
on?
yeah. It's just come on. Well, on the UK one. So I'm guessing you guys in the US.
Just, pre-order it, right?
Yeah.
When does that come out? Did they have like a release date?
Oh, I didn't see. I've got to be honest, but
man, when you
got to be the next couple of
Galaxy,
months.
man, you got to have all of the information. Man,
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, bro.
you are slacking. Man, yo,
It's episode 5, man. I'm getting too relaxed. That's my problem.
I'm excited for that game though. Telltale, Guardians of the Galaxy, man.
I love the Batman. I mean, I'm a Batman fan anyway. You heard me, Cal. I'm a Batman fan.
Yeah, Superman's trash.
Well,
That boy, Superman. That boy, Superman, soft.
that's it. Yeah.
Soft. To be the Man of Steel, how you so soft?
I don't think Lynn's gonna appreciate that, but that's all right.
Yeah,
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. He's strong. He's strong. He'll be all right.
He can stay on Planet Xbox.
But they're all getting PlayStations now, aren't they? So they're all coming.
Some of them are. Yeah,
they're all coming across. They're all coming.
I saw that on Twitter. They're all deciding to slide over. So
Got on Anchors jumped over. Got on Dead's jumped over.
Oh yeah,
Cows jumped over. They're all coming our way. They all know.
They ain't got no damn choice.
They all know.
You ain't got no damn choice at this point. If you want to play, some games, if you want to play some great exclusive games, you gotta have a PS4. That's just point blank. Period. No shots fired. Nothing like that. No shots.
Winding him up.
Gotta have it. I'm just saying, you gotta have it, man. Oh, speaking of great games, Kev, what you been playing, man? You opened that Mass Effect yet?
We're not gonna call it Trash Effect just yet.
Okay.
I did open it, but I just finished installing it, so I'm probably gonna hop into that after the podcast. But I have still been playing Zelda because it is so good. It's so good.
Yeah. I'm hearing great things about it. I'm a little jelly. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, so I won't spend too much time on it because I've already talked it to death, but it's a phenomenal game and I'm still playing through it. And my fiance is playing through it. She is currently playing it in the other room right now on the Switch. So there's that. But that's all I've really had time for. Well, I'm also still playing through For Honor. So I've got a little bit of that going on, but I'm about to switch gears into Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, just going back to the Guardians of the Galaxy, it is out on the 18th of April in the UK. So I would have thought it would be a couple of days before in the US. So probably about the 15th, something like that. You're normally a couple of days before us. So it's not long, less than a month. So exciting times.
Nice. So y'all ready to hear what the King has been playing? The King himself?
No, we'll move on.
Oh, damn. Oh, okay. Wow.
No, come on, Nick.
No, it's okay. My feelings aren't hurt at all because I'm a grown man, so I'm good. I'm still good over here. It's fine. Nobody wants to hear what I gotta play.
No, come on, man. Tell us. Come on.
Sure?
Have you completed that Nier yet?
You guys are sure?
Yeah. Come on.
All right. So okay. I'm happy now. So yes, I've been playing Nier. You know what I'm saying? And I beat the 2B campaign last night. And honestly, look, I didn't even know I was there. Like, they had me at a point where I'm not going to spoil anything, but you're fighting like multiple bosses back to back or whatever. And once I got into that, I was like, okay, let me see where this is going because I'm waiting for it to kind of calm down. It never calmed down. And before I knew it, I beat the freaking game. So I did that like late last night. I couldn't put it down, man. It's just a hallmark of a great game that you don't have to force yourself to play. I know, David can relate to this, especially with us being reviewers. There's some games that we kind of have to force ourselves to finish just for the sake of reviewing a game. But this game right here is nothing like that. Amazing. So I'm looking forward to doing the other campaigns because you have to play as 9S, I think another Android A2, and maybe somebody else. I'm not sure, but there's multiple endings. So I'm looking forward to jumping into that. afterwards. But yeah, phenomenal game. Can't say enough about it. It actually took my attention off of Horizon. You know, I know Blasphemy is PlayStation 4 exclusive, but it took my attention off of that. I've been on nothing but that Nier lately. Shout out to my boy Persona. I don't know if he's here or not, but shout out to him because he got the platinum for Nier already. You know what I'm saying? So this man definitely plays his games. I got to give this man a special shout out because I saw that on Twitter. I'm like, damn, this game just came out. And he already ran through it. That means he did everything. So shout out to him. And me being the king of indies, the only indie game that I actually did play this week, and it counts because I just played it today, is Freedom Planet. It's now on PS4. Yes, we are the peasantry over here. We get 2015 indie games on PS4. You know what I'm saying? But we are hyped as hell about it. So I'm excited for this game. I jumped in there, and it's basically Sonic meets every beat 'em up type of game ever. I mean, she's doing freaking Hadokens and Shurikens and just every Street Fighter move imaginable in this game. And while running as fast as Sonic and stuff. So amazing game thus far. So yeah, my week's been pretty good, man. I got to get back on the Horizon this weekend though, for sure. Just to make sure I keep my PlayStation fanboy card. I got to jump back on that. So yeah, exciting time, definitely exciting time for gaming. So let's move along. You know what I'm saying? I need to say, also remind me, I need to keep my quota for saying, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I got to keep it, street up in here. So let's move on, you know what I'm saying? Because we got to announce the main topic, you know what I'm saying, of today's show, you know what I'm saying? So
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you heard me. So
I wasn't aware of what you were saying.
Okay, well, just to repeat what I was saying, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the topic of today's show, the main topic for everybody is we're going to talk about Mass Effect. We want to really talk about, are we being too harsh on this game? We all know the issues with it. We've seen, the review scores, and some of us have read some of the reviews and things like that. So, and some of us have gotten the game day one. So we're going to talk about this game and just express the truth, you know what I'm saying, of how we feel about this game from a consumer standpoint. So join us for that. Stay tuned for that. But first, before we move on, we're going to talk about the games that released this week on PlayStation Store, just in case you guys don't know about it. We want to keep you guys as PlayStation gamers informed of all the greatness that is out there in case you miss it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of games out there to play. You know what I'm saying? Axe Cal, Axe Anchor, Axe Undead. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of games over here to play that you don't want to miss out on, that's going to make you go out and buy a $400 console because it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? So ask them boys about it. They already know they're experiencing greatness for the first time this generation. Shots fired. You know what I'm saying?
Nick, when you say greatness, do you want us to do like a sound effect or something like that? I don't know how to do it on this. I'm not as technical as James on the multiverse. So I might just use my mouth. So do you want us to go or something like that?
Do whatever y'all want.
I think that works.
Can y'all see my screen? Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody who's joining. You know what I'm saying? Can everybody see my screen good?
Yeah.
So the big game this week is obviously Mass Effect. You know what I'm saying? That has dropped today. We got a couple of games if you guys might be interested in. This is 88 Heroes. So they use a lot of 8s in this game. It's 8:08 a.m. on August 8th, 1988, and the Dr. Evil Dr. H8 has brought the world to the brink of total annihilation. His demands are simple: pay 88 octillion within 88 minutes, or Dr. 8's 88 thermonuclear warheads will wipe out the Earth. So this is the premise behind 88 Heroes. Next we got.
Well with that, Nick.
I
did well with that.
All them damn 8s.
Man, credit.
This right here is called Berserk and the Band of the Hawk. I heard this is really good. I think it's like a action slash type of game. The idea here is pretty good. This right here is called Death Tales. It's not DuckTales. It's not any relation whatsoever. But Death Tales is an action platform. I did check this one out. I will definitely tell you guys, if you guys like action platformers with a twist. Basically, you're playing as Death, who has to save souls or reclaim souls or something like that. But it's pretty colorful, pretty interesting. So I would recommend you guys, if you want action platformer that's only $10, I would recommend this to you guys. This game right here is called Everything. Basically, this game is about
Everything.
everything. I don't know what the hell this game's about. I need to check it out. This one right here is the big one. Screw Mass Effect. Screw everything that I just talked about. Freedom Planet. It's only $15. If you haven't played it on PC, go check out this game, ladies and gentlemen. It's definitely a fun game. And
Man, tell us real quick about that, man. What's it? Combat-based platform.
Yeah. So Freedom Planet is combat platforming, fast moving like Sonic the Hedgehog, so side scrolling. It's a fun little story. You're playing with animal characters. I mean, there's a dragon you're playing as a cat who rides a motorcycle. You know what I'm saying? So it's just out the box, crazy, just action. That
looks awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun so far. You know what I'm saying? If you don't mind like old school, like pixelated type graphics and stuff, because it's not meant to be, dazzling to the eyes, but it definitely is fun, in my humble opinion. So those are some of the games that released this week. I mean, obviously the biggest that got everybody's attention is Mass Effect, so I'm not expecting, you guys to jump on every game that has released this week, but I think it has a decent lineup of games, got indies, some AAAs, things like that this week. So not bad. So next up, my man Chris is going to tell us why we all need to buy a PSVR. Chris swears up and down that PSVR actually has games. So Chris has a game he wants to talk about this week that needs to be on everybody's radar. Chris, what game is on PSVR that we need to be on the lookout for, sir?
Well, you've completely thrown me with that intro. There was a game called Core X that Nick brought to my attention, which is the first game aiming at 120 frames per second to try and hopefully stop motion sickness, which is a big problem for PSVR. Personally, I find that it's a big problem. But like with a lot of these games where they try and have a higher frame rate, they take a hit with the graphics big time. You need to look up this game on YouTube. It takes a big hit. But personally, for me, VR is about experiences. So when I was able to become Batman earlier, last year, it was a boyhood dream. It was a childhood dream. I was so happy. And now they've released a video for Ghostbusters VR. So it's living the dream again for me. It's probably going to be a hot mess of a game, which means it's going to be pretty bad. But I really don't care. And
you think Ghostbusters is going to be bad? VR game?
I don't know. Some of them can be really dodgy. But we were chatting earlier about the Playroom VR, which is free on there. And we were talking about Ghost House. And on that, if it's anything like that, then it should be good fun. Hopefully. Yeah,
I have fun with the it's called Ghost House. I actually have fun with that. And actually the Playroom VR games are like the most fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, they do
VR games that I've actually tried,
That one's really good because it kind of involves people who don't even have the headset on. So, for example, there's one like where you're like a Godzilla kind of, Godzilla type kind of dinosaur, and you kind of go through the streets and you take out. But then you've also got the people with the controllers around you who are running away from you. You see like a different point of view. And there's another game where the person with the VR is a cat, and they've got to try and swipe the mice, which are controlled by people. They're just really good fun party games, and it's free, so you can't complain with anything that's free. So if you're going to play VR, then that's a good intro into it, because it gets, if you're having a party and you've got people, it's good fun.
So when is PSVR going to be worth it for people to buy?
Yeah, when is it going to be good for me to say go get it?
Do you know what I think?
I've been waiting.
I don't know if it's this generation. I don't think it's this generation of PSVR. I had a friend of mine who bought it recently and asked me, how do I unplug the wires at the back? He said, I think it's charged. Can I unplug the wires? I was like, no. You've got this the wrong idea. I think when it becomes unwired and a bit more processing power, I think that's when VR is going to be better. But I think if people want to jump into it, if you've got a spare couple $100/pounds, then give it a go. But I don't think it's ready yet. I think it's great fun. I think if somebody's got it at someone's house, like Nick's tried it, go do that.
Yeah,
because I think like having my friends over to play with it is really funny, and it's worth it alone to watch people play like Until Dawn, where people are jumping out of their skin and swearing. Like I've got a video of my wife playing it where she's holding the two controllers up against her face and her knees up in the air, trying to like shield her from the level with the pigs and the blades and stuff like that. So it's great fun to watch people's reaction on it as well. And I mean, from young people to old people as well. You know, you can get the older generation having a go at the deep sea diving game and like that. But it's all about experiences. And I think if you don't want to go and get it, if you haven't got it now, I would say go and try it at somebody else's house. I wouldn't go to like a game shop or anything like that, because you're basically going to get pink eye and a 5-minute experience, and it's not going to be worth it. You need to try it in the comfort of someone's house.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And you know, I'm waiting for you to come on the podcast one week and just tell us about this amazing, you know, VR title that's a full-on game. I mean, I know we had Resident Evil. People, you know, they say, well, there are great VR games. I know we have Resident Evil, and I know there's some things here and there, but like I'm still waiting for you to come on here and be like, yeah, we got this lined up, and it's just, you know, it's really taking advantage of the power of the VR, and you know, it's really optimized well. And I'm just waiting for you to come on here and tell me something like that.
I mean, there are some fantastic games on it, but most of the time it is experiences. But I found that you don't want to spend too long in the headset anyway. Like it's not the sort of thing where you sit down and think, right, I'm going to play. Like I couldn't play the amount of like Horizon with the headset. They've just done a whole update where you can watch 3D films, and I think I probably get about halfway through the film and I think, oh, do you know what? I've had enough of wearing this headset. And it's not uncomfortable by any stretch of the imagination. It's actually very comfortable, and I haven't tried Oculus or Vive, but I've heard that PSVR is the most comfortable out of those three.
Yeah, I've tried them, and I can agree with that. PSVR is the most comfortable.
We're going to talk a bit later on about disappointing games. I mean, PSVR has quite a few of those, like Riggs and is it Robinson the Journey as well. I think those were going in to be those big experiences that people wanted. Yeah, and it just didn't work out. They weren't as good as people had hoped. Riggs made a lot of people ill. Which, having played the demo, I can completely understand that. So I don't think it's ready yet for a mass market. I think it's very much like the hardcore will want to play it. And I think people who just want to give that sort of tech a go, and I think that's it. So if you ask me if I regretted it, I would say no.
No regrets. No regrets for the British beef.
No regrets. Not yet, anyway.
Okay. So that's cool. So we'll keep an eye on PSVR because Chris is our expert here. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. We won't close the door on it just yet. So next up, I want to get you guys' opinion on something after I make this announcement real quick. Drawn to Death, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are listening at the sound of my voice, Drawn to Death will be free on PS Plus come April 4th. So this is the game that's made by David Jaffe, who is the creative mind behind God of War, for those of you that don't know. It's an arena shooter. I believe it's up to 4 players, if I'm not mistaken, because I played the beta for this a while back. I haven't played it in a long time, but it's basically, for those of you who don't know, you're in this cartoony art style world. Basically, this kid, he's drawn his little notebook, and it's basically the scribble of his caricatures that come to life in this notebook, and they fight it out in this arena style shooter. And it's real creative, real crazy. I had a whole lot of fun with it. So I'm excited to see that it's going to actually be free on PS Plus. The normal price is like $20, I believe. So that's pretty cool that this is going to be a free game in April. So I want to ask the panel, are there brighter days? Do you think there's brighter days ahead for PS Plus, or do you think this is just another one-off thing and it's going to be just mediocre games still come, let's say, in May? You know, because every now and then we get these gems in the PS Plus that's really cool, but then it hits rock bottom. You know, and I'm not the one to complain about getting free games or whatever, but even I'm like, okay, guys, we need to get like some better free games, you know, for this service, because we're 3 years in and you guys are still delivering a lot of just trash. You're delivering the games that you threw away. So what do you guys think about the future of PS Plus free games? Let's go with Kevin.
I mean, I feel like it's going to remain consistent. You're still going to have your gems here and there, but I don't expect any, major improvement over it, which is unfortunate. I think, again, that kind of ties back into the conversation we were having last time about PlayStation Now. I think that's directly connected to that. Why give away a bunch of free games when you could charge people a subscription fee and get a constant stream of revenue for it? But I mean, I'm sure we will see those gems every now and then, like a Rocket League, when that was free on PlayStation Plus. Things like that. Outside of that, I mean, on top of the fact that they haven't really added anything new to the service, like you would think that maybe every couple months they throw in a VR title or something like that to try to push people towards the VR route. They haven't.
Yeah, they had a free VR. They haven't had one yet, huh?
No, they haven't had one.
PS4, PS3.
But they've given away a lot of free stuff for VR. There's a lot of free bits and bobs, things like the Call of Duty, a space shooter, things like that. They've given away a lot of free stuff for VR already. So I think if they were going to do Plus, I think they'd actually do a proper game.
Right. I don't really see it improving, which then I guess calls into question whether PlayStation Plus is worth the price. But I feel like that's a whole nother conversation. But that's just me.
David, what do you think? Do you think we're going to see any improvement with PS Plus, or we're going to get the same mediocrity mixed with a few gems?
No, I agree with that. They're going to just continue on this stream of here's every 2 months we'll give you a really fantastic game, and we'll give you 6 crossover games that work for the PS3, Vita, and PS4, and they're games that we didn't support 2 years ago, and you didn't play 2 years ago, and you're not going to play now. Damn. So they got the PS Now. They got this, like Chris said, the stream of cash is coming, and no, I don't see it getting any better. What's happening for this month, April, I think that's cool, but no, I don't see it going better.
So it don't even have to be like these great games, right? I feel like it needs to be like PS3 days where you get a mix. You would get like one pretty good game, and then you would get like some mediocre games along with it. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't even have to be great games. It could just be decent, good games, right? I think a lot of people scream they want like AAA and stuff like that. I'm not even on that bandwagon. Some of the indies we're getting have been trash. Complete trash, period. I would be totally satisfied if we got 2 decent indies, per month.
Stop giving me games like Color Splash. I don't want to play that. Come on. That's an awful waste of time.
I think for me, I think the success of Rocket League was awesome, but I think it also hindered PS Plus as well. I think they're looking for the next Rocket League. I mean, they had Disc Jam that came out this month, and then I think they're going with Drawn to Death. So I think I think they're looking for that next title that does that.
This Jam wasn't bad. I forgot about this Jam. This Jam wasn't bad. I mean, I only played
it. Was all right.
Once.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't total trash.
It wasn't Mario Tennis. So.
Damn. All right. So. So basically the panel still has no hope for PS Plus. So, you can expect these gems every now and then, but expect more mediocrity on the way because Sony is getting pretty damn greedy, which is a shame, but it's to be expected when, you're pretty much way ahead of all competition and stuff. So it's to be expected that they will start, slacking in certain areas. And this is one area they're definitely slacking in my opinion. So, let's move along. I promise we're almost going to talk about everybody's favorite subject, Mass Effect. Y'all thought I was going to say Trash Effect, huh? So I wanted to give an update and get you guys' thoughts on Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. So if you guys pay attention to the PlayStation blog like I do, and in fact, if you're a PlayStation gamer, you know what I'm saying? If you're certified PlayStation gamer, if you got this PS4 tatted on your chest like I do, you do pay attention to the PlayStation blog every single day. You read it religiously every single day. And so they have a spot on there where they're giving an update on Uncharted Lost Legacy. And it has some pretty interesting details. So I'm going to spit this at you guys real quick. So most of you know already it's going to be a standalone. It's going to be longer than the Left Behind, which is the DLC for The Last of Us, but it's going to be shorter than Uncharted 4. So I'm thinking, they didn't say this, but I'm thinking it's going to be about $40. They also stated it's going to be 12 months after Uncharted 4. So these events are going to be 12 months, like basically a whole year after the events of Uncharted 4. Also, it's going to have Chloe and Nadine. They're going to be working together on this treasure hunt. So Chloe, we all know Chloe. They decided to revisit this character because she's very popular, but they feel like she's independent, and she compliments Drake, but she's a little more on the darker side as far as morality. So they wanted to explore that concept as a character. And so she's in it for the thrill of the hunt, similar to like how Drake is, and also for the fortune. And Nadine, how she plays into it, they said, is that she's here because of the direct consequences of her actions in Uncharted 4, which basically left her in shambles. Like her shoreline army that she was over is basically in shambles. So she has to work, and she's kind of like desperate. She's trying to build herself back up. So as far as scale for this game, it's pretty impressive as far as scale. They said that the landscape is the biggest area that they ever done in an Uncharted game. So that's not to say that this game is going to be like bigger than Uncharted 4 as far as scale, by no means, but they're focusing on India. I believe it's southern India. So they're focusing on that. So they're saying that they're able to widen it and allow you to explore this area, this one single area, and they made it pretty expansive. Now, there's some speculation that there could be Nathan Drake in this game, but they have confirmed there will be no Nathan Drake whatsoever in this game. They were toying with the idea of having him come in as a cameo and all this other stuff, but there will be absolutely no Nathan Drake in this game. This is all about Chloe and Nadine. So yes, Nathan Drake is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Let that man die. He's retired. You know what I'm saying? So leave him alone. He's off playing Crash Bandicoot on his
spoiler
PS1.
alert.
Huh?
Spoiler alert.
What spoilers? Look here. If you haven't played Uncharted 4, you know what I'm saying? You don't even
What are you doing listening to this?
You don't even need to listen to this podcast. I'm just gonna be straight up.
What have they got to go and do, Nick?
Well, hate to break it to you, but I've never played any of them because I don't care that much.
Oh my God! Somebody kick this man. Somebody kick this man out the podcast right now.
But I think what they're doing with these this new content and everything, I think that's fantastic for the fans, the people that want to play the game and get more into the story. I think it's awesome. They need to do more of that for more games.
You try to redeem yourself. You got to get out of here. You got to go. Get this man out of here.
It's the only game I don't really want to play. I mean, I tried it, but I just couldn't get into it.
You and Chico with your hate for Uncharted. I can't stand it.
I don't hate Uncharted. I just don't care about it.
That's the same damn thing. You don't care about something, that means you hate it.
Which one did you try, Dave?
It was the second one.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you tried the first, I would definitely try the second one.
I would see if he tried the first one, he didn't like it, but he tried arguably the best one in the series, and he didn't like it. Did you beat it, or you just played a little bit and you gave up?
Just played a little bit and gave up.
We need to send this man into rehab.
I could probably jump into the series now if I had a little more time. I'd be fine with it, but that's what I don't have is time. So kind of just I'll let you guys play it, and I'll let you guys enjoy it, and I'll live through you guys and everybody else.
This man said he'll let us play and live through us. Oh, yes, indeed. So any thoughts from the British, I'm about to call you the British beef. The British beef and Kev on this standalone. Anything that, piques your interest, that excites you about it?
Go on, Kev.
I mean, I just want to see more of it. I really liked what I saw during the PSX demo that they had. during the press conference, and I just think we need to see more of it. It's great that they're telling us all this extra information, but what I care about is gameplay and to see what else is in there. So, but it's a good start, and I think it's a very interesting take that they're bringing Chloe back in after kind of being MIA all this time. Folks want to know where one of their favorite characters is, so I definitely think it's a story worth telling.
Let's just face it, everybody wants to see those cheeks. They brought
cheeks.
They brought the cheeks back. The rosy cheeks on her face, of course.
Oh yeah. Mr. Nier Automata. But skimpy butt outfit, man. He loves it.
Hey man, 2B is the freaking truth. 2B is a goddess. If you don't know, now you know.
You just like your girl's blindfolded, don't you? That's all it is.
Listen up. I didn't even know she wears a blindfold, honestly. Just saying, I don't go that high. Never mind. Let me just stop.
Let's move on, man.
Let me stop before I get in trouble.
For me, if he hasn't got Nathan Drake in, I'm not that bothered, to be honest with you, because I enjoy the games. They're great, but I like Nathan Drake and I like Sully. So for me,
you're disappointed there's no Nathan Drake or Sully?
No, I think it's good to do something different. But for me personally, I would rather just stick to the format. It's kind of like playing Tomb Raider without Lara Croft. It seems a bit weird. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, I got you. I mean, the characters like Nadine. Let me just say this: Nadine is an amazing character. I was impressed by Nadine in Uncharted 4, and I was hoping they would do something with her in it. So I'm excited simply for Nadine. Now, Chloe is cool and everything, you know what I'm saying? And I really didn't fall in love with Chloe like a lot of people have, and I think she's interesting and everything, but I'm more excited for to see Nadine in a standalone adventure, so I think it's going to be cool. I'm definitely going to be picking it up when it does drop because Naughty Dog does not disappoint. So I'm definitely going to be picking it up for sure.
And please, no fencing. No fencing.
No fencing?
I do not want to fence in this. I do not want any sword fights, fencing, anything like that, please.
Oh, no. Yeah. No spoilers, right? But yeah, no fencing, no sword fights. Yeah, because we've learned that Naughty Dog doesn't do sword fights very well, right? That's the one thing they don't do well, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, they can have everything else, but sword fights, no
sword fighting. Yo, for everybody who is just joining, or if you are listening at the sound of my voice, please make sure you hit that like button because like lives matter on YouTube. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, like lives matter on YouTube. So make sure you hit that like button for us because that's all we need. That's all we need from you guys. Now, if you don't like the show, don't hit the dislike button. Okay, guys, don't hit the dislike button. Chris, tell everybody what they need to do if they dislike the show instead of hitting the dislike button.
You're gonna make me do this again.
every week, people need to know. How can they get it off their chest?
Go and play Kitty Powers. There they go.
Kitty Powers, ladies.
Off they go.
Go play.
Go
Kitty
let them.
Powers.
Go free. Go be free.
Or go watch Little House on the Prairie or some crap like that. But don't.
My Little Pony.
Or My Little Pony. Or Rainbow Bright. Or the Care Bears. Watch something.
We're showing our age here, man.
To make you happy. Hey, I don't care if people know I'm in my 30s. I'm an OG out here.
Yeah.
I'm a gaming OG out here.
Also, quick fun fact about Kitty Powers. Apparently, she has a show. I did not know that there was a show for Kitty Powers. I saw an ad for it.
There's a show for Kitty Powers. The extravagant dating video game that we found on our first episode. There's a show.
Well, she's a real life persona, apparently. So, yeah, she has a show. Just a fun fact for you.
Have you series linked it?
I have not. I'll have to find the ad and send it to you guys.
I cannot believe this is really a thing.
Yeah.
No.
So be honest. Which one of you guys actually played that game? Just be honest.
No one played it.
No, I've never played it.
I said to you I bought Horizon and I've been playing it to death. I haven't really. I bought Kitty Powers instead.
I usually play everything, but I just don't want to play that game. And Uncharted, those two together.
David,
wow, this man just put Uncharted in the same breath as Kitty Powers. The disrespect, the absolute blasphemy. God is going to strike you down with lightning, sir.
I love it. I know.
All the horrible things in life happen to you and only you.
I'm I'm stuck in the middle of the console war. Okay, I get it all the time. I'm fine with it. I don't care.
Do you know what? I think Garden State Boss on the chat has it all over. If you dislike this podcast, pay the first stranger you see $50 to give you a swift kick in the balls.
There we
like
go.
that.
There we
like
go.
it too. Yeah, no, that's good. That's
Garden
good.
State Boss, I like the way you think. We are going to make you a mod one day. Make sure you come back, sir. You have just earned a bunch of brownie points, man. Yes, gold star for this man.
Anyone who can't get into an Uncharted game isn't human. That's what another one. That's what they said.
That's another one golden. Yeah, see, he's saying all the great
See.
quotes tonight. That should be on a freaking t-shirt, literally. We fanboying right now. Please excuse us, everybody here except for David, because he's a responsible reviewer. That's why he's one of the reviewers on our site, because he has no bias. So you definitely want to trust reviewers at tickgn.com. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, reviewers at tickgn.com. That is the Inner Circle Games Network. Make sure you go to the website and check it out for all your latest gaming news, reviews, and opinionated pieces. Okay, shameless plug. But let's move on to our big news story that everybody here, all 1,000 of our viewers who have just joined just now, you know what I'm saying, all the thousands and thousands of viewers that we have, you all came for this story right here. We're going to talk about Trash Effect, the game that has just dropped today. It is Trash Effect Andromeda. You know, let me just be politically correct. Trash Effect Andromeda. And so
here goes the hate.
So I'm just gonna be honest. I haven't played the game. For those of you who know me, I'm a cautious consumer. You know, I don't buy everything day one. I just don't. I don't buy everything day one. And what you said about indie games?
I said unless it's an indie game.
I don't buy every indie game day one. I mean, I'm more willing to try indie game because they're cheaper, you know, but when it comes to $60 games like this, I'm very cautious about what I buy. And also, I want to go ahead and put a disclaimer out there that I am a Mass Effect fan. I loved part 1. Part 2 is my favorite. I love part 3 up until the end, like most people. So I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, so I'm not a Mass Effect hater. But we want to talk about the problems with Mass Effect. First and foremost, this is not a problem, but first and foremost, this has to be stated. It's sitting at a 75 to 78, depending on which platform you look at. It's sitting at a 75 to 78 on Metacritic right now, which is much lower than some of the other games that have been getting high 80s, 90s, you know, like Horizon, Zero Dawn, and Zelda. You know, Zelda pretty much got perfect 10s all over the place. So it's getting much lower scores, but 75, 78 is not bad. So don't get me wrong, it's not bad. But as far as the bad in this game, what I've seen is the bad facial expressions. That's just a given. You know, everybody's seen that. There's all types of crazy gifs on this stuff. It's just bananas right now. They're stating that there's major performance issues and bugs throughout the game, and I've seen gameplay of this. And you know, I can't, like I said, I haven't got my hands on the game, so I'm not being too harsh on it. But from what I've seen as a cautious consumer, it's a bit of a concern for me. Okay, now the good is they're saying the story is pretty good. They're saying the combat is great, it's fluid, no problems there, and they're saying some of the characters are lovable. So I want to ask the panel their thoughts on these issues with Mass Effect. Is the response to the facial and the movement animations, is that too harsh? And what are some of you guys' experiences with seeing this, like on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever the case may be? Let's go with our guest first. David, what do you think about this so far, man?
It's a deal breaker for me. I mean, if the game doesn't do what they tell you to do like that, why would you pay the $60? I can't afford to do that anymore. I can't throw my money away like that. I have no time to do that, and I can't throw the money away. The game's broken. It doesn't play right. It doesn't look right. I'm not buying it.
Have you played the previous Mass Effects?
Yeah, I played all 3. I love Mass Effect. It's a great series. The first one is my favorite, and I was going to pre-order, but I just thought I'd wait, just to see if something like this would happen, and it did. So I'm happy I waited.
So even though you are a hardcore Mass Effect fan, you still weren't like drawn to just ignore these problems and stuff and buy day one. Like, Was it just because you don't have time, or was it just you don't have the money?
Just past experiences of being burned on games like this. Like it's not in this system, but like the Halo Master Chief Collection, those kind of things. You gotta wait. I'll wait for a couple patches and then I'll buy it.
Okay, Kevin. You got Mass Effect.
Yes, I did.
You bought Mass Effect, so you got a totally different perspective than me and David right now. So you bought it in spite of the issues with the game. So for you, did the good outweigh the bad?
Well, first, quick caveat. Technically, I didn't buy it. My brother bought it for me because he owed me a Christmas present. So shout out to my brother.
Oh,
but, okay. Yeah, I do have it. He asked whether I wanted a particular game, and I specified Mass Effect Andromeda. So in terms of the facial animations, I completely agree that people have been talking about the wonky animation since one of the first trailers came out last year. Is it a deal breaker for me? No. Is it something that should not be there and should be rectified? Absolutely. I think we've gone too far in not only the console cycle, but we've gone so far. It would be one thing if this was their first game like this, comparing it to Horizon Zero Dawn, where folks had issues with some of the facial animations in that, not because they were wonky or anything like that, but some of the facial animations looked lifeless. Especially in the side quests. Yeah. But again, they weren't completely like crazy. Not to say that they're absolutely absurd ones in Mass Effect, but they're clearly more jarring than whatever the facial animations are in Horizon Zero Dawn. I wouldn't consider it a deal breaker, especially when you look at other games like Skyrim, Fallout 4. Those facial animations, I would argue, are probably a little worse than Mass Effect. And that wasn't really that huge of a concern for people. So I think the facial animation thing, while I do think being BioWare's fourth game in this series, this should be fixed by now. And I understand they switched to a new engine and that may have something to do with it. I don't think that's an excuse at this point, but I will say it's not a deal breaker for me because I think there are far more egregious examples. But to that same standard, there are better examples. Like, you didn't see this facial animation nonsense in Final Fantasy 15, for example. Just wasn't there. Now, in terms of whether the game is broken, wouldn't go that far. Like, using the Halo Master Chief Collection example, that game was broken. Like, netcode did not work for months. People were in lobbies for like 30 minutes to get into a game, and they were like one of two people in a lobby. So like, I think that using that as an example may be a bit egregious. But again, certain level of standard needs to be upheld, right? If there are a lot of technical glitches, where was their QA team?
Right.
What happened?
How did it get past them? Like, legit.
To that token, it should be this is what they should be working on now, which I'm sure they are working on. Whatever the next patch is. I mean, games don't come out in a perfect state, so I'm sure some of those glitches will be rectified. I don't know if the facial animation thing is, but again, I also think that's a little blown out of proportion. So I mean, those are some negative caveats that those can be argued as to whether it's a make or break for people. What I could see as a make or break is the fact that from early access builds that I've watched and other reviews that I've read, a lot of folks are saying that the story is not nearly as engaging. That I can absolutely see as a deal breaker. Now, I'll fill you in next show after I play for a bit to see if that's the case. But folks are saying it's not nearly as engaged as the first Mass Effect, and that absolutely could be fair. I think it's a little bit of a different scenario since the stories are somewhat different. This is supposed to be a frontier story. You're starting from nothing, as opposed to how you started in Mass Effect 1 as Commander Shepard. You already had status.
Yeah, that would be very disappointing for me, because Mass Effect is this giant space opera, and it had an amazing deep story, characters that you cared about and loved and things like that. And I know that this is a new one, and it's going to take some time to get used to these new characters and fall in love with them or whatever. But I mean, yeah, if the story ain't hitting, man, I'm definitely not getting this game at all.
Well, right, and that I would completely understand as a deal breaker, again, because that's why you come to these games. That's why you come to BioWare games. You don't necessarily come for the greatest mechanics built into a game. You come for the story. What you're putting yourself in this Commander Shepard's place, or this Pathfinder Rider's place, and you're going through this space opera, this frontier story. Yeah. So, I am excited to play it. I understand the concerns that people have, and I think those are absolutely valid, and you should go through the proper avenues of letting BioWare know that, some of these things, if they're broken things in the game or if they're glitches, let them know. But, I wouldn't necessarily go as far as to say a lot of those would be deal breakers for me, because those are not, I don't think any of those examples are so egregious that I would say no. But again, I may change my mind next week, so I'll let you know.
Okay. And speaking of like the mechanical stuff, one of our writers, he made a good point. He was stating that the first Mass Effect, it had, its issues for its time as well. And people kind of dogged it at first. But once people started playing it, really got into it, it became one of the most beloved games of all time. So do we think that's the same case right now? Or does this not get a pass? Because at this point, like you said, they should be on top of their game. Like, we shouldn't be seeing stuff like this at this point, basically because of the technology we have now. So British Beef, what are your thoughts on this and that, man? On this and that and this and that?
It's interesting because Kev mentioned Fallout 4, and I've just, as I mentioned earlier, I've just started playing that again. And Bethesda seemed to get quite a pass with the glitches that can happen in that game. I think people are expecting this BioWare game to be the next massive AAA, and I think if you look at it compared to, say, something like Horizon Zero Dawn, the facial animations aren't up to par.
And Horizon's facial animations aren't even perfect either. So
no, they're not perfect, but there's a par. Do you know what I mean? There's like a level that is expected. Right. It doesn't particularly massively take you out of the experience, and I think the problem with Mass Effect at the moment is that it takes you slightly out of the experience. So the clips that I've seen, and I've seen to the guys before, that I've seen a few GIFs as well, that a character can talk to you and have a perfectly normal scene, and then it walks off, strutting off like Vince McMahon used to back in the Attitude Era.
Talking about some, you're fired.
Oh, fired, like that sort of thing. And you can have a conversation with a character in it, and they're not looking at you. Their kind of eyes are like moving all around, all over the place. It's like they're not really paying attention to you. And I think it's just a thing where you just get taken out of the experience. I think that's it. But I've seen a couple of reviews for it and a couple of videos about it. But there are other certain things that I think that don't help the game. So there's a system where you go on each planet, and there's 3 or 4 different things that you must do on the planet to, I can't think of the word.
Colonize.
Thank you.
You're good.
I think this is what it's for, but they have like a Sudoku style puzzle, which is done with their kind of own like patterns and figures and so on.
They're like alien glyphs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. God, I can tell it's like 1 o'clock in the morning my time. I can't speak properly.
Everybody, give this man a like for being up so late, ladies and gentlemen. Give this man a like.
Yeah. So with that, you do this puzzle, and if you get it wrong, you have to take out about 5 or 6 enemies, and then you get a chance to do it again. And some of the reviews were saying that things like that make the game quite tedious, and the whole Pathfinder, the vehicle that you drive as well. There are sections where you're just driving along, and it kind of, when I was seeing the reviews, I thought, popped into my mind, is this kind of like No Man's Sky, in that sense, that you just searching along big planets and you just go on forever and endless, and you thought, okay, I'm a bit tired of this now. I need something to happen with it. Hopefully it's a bit more detailed than that, but that's just the impression I got from the reviews that I saw. For me, it's not my sort of game. I've got to be honest. I played the first 3. Didn't really grab me as much, but I can completely understand people's love for it, and I can also understand people's disappointment with this. They were expecting this to be a Game of the Year contender, and it hasn't turned out like that, which is sad for the fans more than anything else. And also talking about patches, I've heard that they're not going to correct the facial animation.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think they can. They can.
Yeah,
I don't think they can.
Yeah, I think the wording they used was because people were asking about the day 1 patch to see if that would fix the facial animations, and they said that the day 1 patch would not. However, I do agree. I think that's a bit of an undertaking for a patch to be able to fix facial animations at this point. I wouldn't expect to see.
Yeah, patches aren't magic, ladies and gentlemen. They're not magic.
I've heard that the aliens are pretty good. So all the different races that you get of aliens, it's just the humans are a bit dodgy. So I think if you can kind of get past that, then I think you'll be all right. But I think it's that whole Assassin's Creed thing where you like they had it with was it Unity, where like they'll have a cutscene and the mate he's got no face.
It's not that bad.
It basically throws you out of the experience, and you're
I will say I haven't seen anything quite that bad. I mean that was really bad.
Yeah, that's a bit discredit to Mass Effect, but it's that sort of thing. It takes you out of the experience, and you're a bit like,
So, gentlemen, I want to ask this question or release this statement to you for you to ponder. Do you think there is a problem just overall in the gaming community with purchasing every game day 1 / like pre-ordering every single game? Do you guys think that this type of stuff is the result of publishers knowing that they're going to get our money early, and they're not put in the effort, not go through the full QA process like they should, not, just do everything that they should, like, to avoid these types of errors? Because yes, like you guys said, no game is perfect. All games are gonna have their problems, but when you have glaring issues like this, you gotta be like, how did this make it past QA? How was this okay with anybody? Like, how did this happen? So do you think that they saw this and they were like, well, we're going to get their money anyway because they buy everything day 1 because they pre-order everything? So do you think this is a direct reflection? Do you think there's a problem with everybody just not being able to resist buying every single game day 1? Anybody? I don't care, because I'm sick of it. Me.
I think there is something to be said about pre-ordering and buying every single game day 1. I do think there's an argument to be said for that. I think in terms of Mass Effect, I think those animation issues were there long before any type of pre-order situation. I think that was apparent in one of the first trailers that came out, and there was a backlash online where people were like, what about this facial animation? And I think that is something they just were not able to fix. I'm sure they tried. I don't think that was something they were able to completely rectify. And maybe that was just because of where they were in learning this new engine that they were using. But I don't think that would have mattered either way. The day one sales or what have you, I think that would have persisted regardless. In the overall conversation, I do think that pre-orders are not necessary, especially when there's free content involved as like the carrot on the stick as an incentive. They don't really, I mean, I think at the end of the day, they're not a great vehicle for consumers to purchase content. Like you said, to be a conscious consumer should probably wait and see what's happening, unless you don't care about the end result. I feel like that's the only reason why you should be like, okay, I'm going to pre-order. Like for me, I didn't necessarily care about the end result of Mass Effect because I am a Mass Effect fan and I love the series. But
I think that's where pre-orders come in, isn't it? Like if you're a massive fan of the franchise and you want to do it, like the first game I've pre-ordered in a long time was Horizon, but for me, whatever that game turned out, I wanted it because it ticked all the boxes for me. And I think if Mass Effect ticks all the boxes for you and you're a fan of the franchise, I think people should just go for it. I mean, ultimately, it's their money. If they want to drop it down on a game, then they can drop it down on a game. I pre-ordered a couple of games. Ultimately, I know what I'm getting with Parappa the Rapper, but I've pre-ordered a random game called Late Shift, and this is like a live action game, which I have no idea whether it's going to be a game or not, but I've just put down £10 on this game as a kind of gamble. And I think a lot of the time it is a slight gamble on what you're getting. Especially I think with the rate that games are coming out at the moment, I think people are just like, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I think people they put their money down when they can on what they want. And I think people get quite specific and get quite protective of putting their money down on things as well. And I think regardless of what the quality of the game is, I think people will put their money down.
Yeah, I could see games that you've invested in the past. Like there's trusted developers that I know that are going to produce good games based on experience. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with pre-ordering in general, but like for me, it's like it seems to me like gamers these days, they're just pre-ordering everything, like just day one, this day one. Like even the games that I trust, based on experience, I kind of wait a little bit to kind of see how it's panning out, watch some videos, some gameplay, some developer diaries. I kind of still wait a little bit to see how it's rolling out, and then I may put my pre-order down.
That's kind of what I did with Horizon. So
I think people don't investigate. I think gamers aren't really informed consumers anymore. Honestly, I don't, and I think this is a direct reflection of that.
Well, for me, I to that point, I guess I want to ask a counter question where, so you mentioned that it seems more increasingly that folks are just putting down pre-orders for, whatever game. They're not thinking about it. Mm-hmm. How much of that would you credit then to other avenues? So, for example, before we would pre-order games because of the hype of the game from, maybe IGN has a exclusive with a developer and they're showing off a game and things like that. But now we've shifted into this era where content creators are pushing out games because they've got early access builds, they've got relationships with different developers, so they're getting games early, and within their own communities they're hyping up a game to where folks are like, oh well, so and so is playing it, I need to play it, I need to get it day one, because otherwise if I'm watching this particular content creator, if they're doing multiplayer stuff, I want to get in and be able to play with them day one, or B, maybe they're going through story and I don't want to have to get spoiled on that story, so I need to get it day one so that I can play along with them, so that they're not spoiling the content for me.
That's why that's why PS Now is quite an interesting concept. That it's going to be like the older games, and people are worried by that. I think people like the hype of a game, and like I said earlier, games are coming out so fast at the moment at such a rate that you either get on the hype train or you don't.
Right.
Yeah, I think
That
that's got to come.
That only like is excusable for content creators. I think as far as like consumers go, you're kind of like being a sheep if you think that way. You know, I understand that you get hyped for stuff and based on gameplay and early access and all that stuff, but get hyped for it, but kind of like keep your money to yourself. That I'm just speaking like for me. This is my mentality. I'm not saying that everybody has to do this and all that stuff. Otherwise, if you follow me, you're a sheep too. But I'm just saying, like, for my mentality, yes, I get excited for games and stuff, but I kind of like I have to kind of like investigate, you know, do some investigative reporting before you just jump out on a limb.
Sometimes. I think that's when you change from being change from being a casual to being like kind of where we are, where we're invested in it. You know, my Twitter feed is nothing but sport and gaming, and you know, people look into it deeper. I think the casuals will see posters and they'll see adverts on TV. The amount of adverts I've seen, for example, like for Horizon Zero Dawn is crazy, and people are going to go, "Oh yeah, that game looks pretty cool. I'll get that." You know, and it works, and the hype for these games is big, and it's big away from us, like as people who actually look into things a bit deeper. I've got a counter question of counter question.
The counter of the question.
The counter of the question is: do you think that EA Access has hurt this game? I know we were talking about PS Now and game trials like last week, but I think reviews would have touched on it slightly, but I think because it had the week early on EA Access, I think a lot of people have jumped on this because they've had that. I was going to say free 10 hours, but you know what I mean. The EA Access, and they've played their 10 hours and they've said, "Oh, it's a big glitchy mess." And I think word of mouth rather than reviews has gone round about this, and people have been making the GIFs and things like that. If it was just for reviewers for that week, I don't think people will be able to make the GIFs. I don't think as many people will be talking about it. I think reviewers would mention it, but I don't think it would be as big a subject. You look at some of the reviews, and the reviews, I go, yeah, there's some facial animation problems, but you know, it's few and far between. Mm-hmm. It sounds like a lot of the people who are saying about this are the people who have played it on EA Access.
Yeah, that's true. Let my man, real quick, let my man David chime in on this. He's our special guest. I want to hear his thoughts on it.
Well, like on the pre-ordering, I do that a little bit. Let's see, the last game I'm looking at right now, I pre-ordered Godzilla on the PS4, and I'm proud. I'm a proud fan of that.
Goodness. Oh, this guy. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. This man pre-ordered Godzilla.
I did.
Yeah.
I was so excited, but I researched the games I want to buy, and I usually wait a couple days. I don't do day one anymore. I can't do it. I mean, the stuff like this happens, and sometimes it's deal breaker, sometimes it's not. And then, you know, you've got EA Access, which I think is a great service, but in a situation like this where the game is glitchy and it's got issues, it does hurt it a little bit because people are just going to start breaking it down and doing the GIFs and everything before, you know, BioWare can say, "Hey, we actually have a couple of problems. We're going to fix it." So
they were a bit ballsy. They were a bit ballsy putting on EA Access, though, right?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't think they were. I was surprised to see that.
The problem they've got is that they've gone from having, say, like 20 reviewers, like, you know, like big end reviewers, to having thousands of reviewers.
Yeah,
I mean that's the problem they've got, and because so many people have played it and gone, "I'll play my 10 hours or however long I've got, and I'll leave it at that." And I think that's hindered them as well.
I've got another thing. As a reviewer, I don't use EA Access to review games. I did it once, and it was awful. I did it for Battlefield Hardline, and I don't feel like it's a good service to review games because you only get 10 hours, and you don't really get to see the whole game. And I don't see it as a great way for people like me or Nick to review the game to see it. It's not a good service like that.
Yeah. And I think having so many people that have just played the 10 hours and given their review of it, I think that's going to really hinder the game because it's probably one of those ones that doesn't get going until the 11th hour, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, or hour 60. I mean, that's Mass Effect, that kind of game where you've got to spend time into it. It's not.
I agree.
It's not something you can just jump into and say, "Hey, this game is awful," or, you know, it's not like that.
Yeah, I mean,
spend time into it, especially with new characters and stuff. Coming off the coattails of Captain Shepard, you definitely gotta spend time in it and develop.
Especially after that, you gotta try to. You gotta not force yourself, but you gotta try to enjoy the game.
Right.
And especially if you've bought the game as well. If you've bought the game, you've spent $60 on it. You're going to want to play it all. But if you just have access to the 10 hours, you're just going to rinse the 10 hours and be like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, you're gonna get the 10 hours, get your couple achievements, and be like, oh, well, I made a video, put it on YouTube, and
then go on Twitter and hashtag trash effect.
That's it.
What are you gonna say, Kev?
Yeah, well, I think if folks even got the full 10 hours to play story, it would have helped. I think part of the problem, especially with this particular EA Access game, was that folks were only able to play up to a certain point in the first or after the first mission. So like,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, there was a limit to where you could continue in the actual story during the access build. So folks literally saw, the first mission and a half snippet, and then that was all that they saw of multiplayer or of single player. And then the rest of it was the multiplayer. So that's where you get the comments about the fluid movement and, the combination of powers and yada, yada, yada. But this was literally like you get an hour and a half, 2 hour snippet of the game where you're spending 15 minutes of that creating your character. You know what I mean? Like you don't get it wasn't even like a full slice of the game that people were getting this impression on. Yet, because again, you throw around the EA Access and you say, oh, well, they got 10 hours. People extrapolate that to saying, well, this is going to be like a 30, 40-hour game, and they got a 10-hour access point to this game, and this is all they're seeing. Yeah, the people are going to assume that the game is complete trash, based off of really an hour and a half of clips, and then you find your funny gif off of that 1 hour and a half session, and then you cycle that out. You know what I mean? Like,
so man walk.
I ultimately agree with you.
That gorilla walk.
Yeah, that one was admittedly really good.
That man, he stormed off like a mad little kid, like a mad little ape.
So, I mean, to your point, I absolutely agree that EA Access absolutely hurt this game way before folks had a chance to even see a proper review or
first impressions of everything,
because it wasn't even the 10-hour access to the campaign. It was literally like an hour and a half.
Yeah, like Madden or something would be good for EA Access, not this kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. And I think with social media being how it is, I think we get access to people's thoughts and not just reviewers' thoughts a lot quicker. Like, I was waiting for the reviews, but they were coming out as the game was coming out, but I'd already heard people's opinions long before that. I mean, I was waiting for the IGN one to come out, but long before the IGN one came out, I had all sorts of different people telling me on my Twitter feed what the game's like. This is the bugs. The story does this. It's just, it doesn't even give it a fair crack of the whip. You need that. You need your trusted reviewers.
Yeah.
The inner circle to tell you about these games.
I'm about to say, there's a better GN and this Tick GN.
Sorry, man. I quite like Dan Stapleton.
Where you can go and get these reviews, these unbiased, well thought out, well written reviews. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I agree with you guys as far as the being on EA Access kind of put out a bad first impression out there, kind of put in people's minds that this game's kind of a joke, especially with all the gifts and stuff. It's like you just laugh at it and you're like, I don't want to play a joke. So I mean, but it's not a day one for me. It's not a day one for me whatsoever, because of the issues, right? There's just too many issues right now. I mean, the facial animations or whatever probably won't get fixed or whatever, but like some of the other bugs and things like that, once that gets ironed out, I'll revisit and rethink it and see if I want to buy it. Because like I said, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, and I definitely want to play it. I mean, there's some good things about it, some great things about it, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and see how it pans out, and I'll eventually get it. I mean, I didn't buy Mass Effect, 1 or 2 day one. Now I bought 3 day one because by then I was invested in it, but I didn't buy 1 or 2 day one. So this ain't no biggie. It's not a bad thing if you don't buy a game day one. I just want the community to understand that it's not a bad thing. Be an informed consumer, hold back a little bit and see what's going to happen. So a couple
especially
of
if you're not sure of the game.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing at all wrong with it.
Always wait for a demo or try Redbox and rent it, or kind of any service that lets you try it first before you buy it. Look into that before you spend the money.
And it might be like a thing like Destiny, where like in a couple of months' time, in a year's time, it might actually be a really good completed full game, and you might be a completely different kettle of fish. So
and get it a whole lot cheaper.
Well, yeah, that's it as well. It might get a little bit of a cult following, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So, speaking of Destiny, so there's a couple of games that I personally blame, and the panel also has put their 2 cents in as well, for day one purchases. For this trend of day one pre-order purchases, this is the type of games that we get. So I want everybody in the community to learn a lesson from this and just be reminded, because history, ladies and gentlemen, history is our friend. So a little game called No Man's Sky is a result of day one purchases and pre-orders. A little game called Last Guardian is another result of day one purchases and pre-orders. Street Fighter V is another one. Mafia 3. Mafia 3 is another one, and I laugh because my man David, he actually really likes Mafia 3, which nothing wrong. That's his opinion. You know what I'm saying? We respect people's opinions, but he liked that trash that is known as Mafia 3. And then, of course, Destiny. Is there any other games, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, wait, there's no ladies here. I'm sorry. Gentlemen of the panel, that you can think of that just was total disappointments that we can blame the day one syndrome on.
Well, I will say, in fairness, for a lot of those games, it's not solely the day one syndrome.
No, it absolutely is. It's the community's fault. It's the consumer's fault. It's their fault. These uninformed consumers, Kevin. They're making our lives hell.
I could say, yeah.
Go on, Dave.
I'd just say that Street Fighter V, that was a day one. I was so pissed when I played that the first day. I just about smashed my PlayStation. That was just no.
Do you think it's like, you look at a lot of these games and you get the feeling that a lot of them are really, really rushed out of the door? Like, a lot of these games, 6 months down the line, you look at, I'm going to go with No Man's Sky, how much more they've added over the last 2 patches, and you're like, why was this not in at the start? Why is gonna? So
you know why? Because you all these pre-orders, dude. Everybody's pre-ordering the game. They got the money. They're like, oh wait, they're like, oh, they're gonna buy this regardless if it's completely finished or not. So let's put it out there. There. They're gonna buy it. We're gonna get the money, and we can patch it later down the line.
It's the Destiny model.
It's easy.
Oh god,
it's easy to get in the mind of these publishers. It's so easy, but gamers, we're so impulsive. We just can't wait. We got to have everything day one, and it's hurting us as a community. Honestly, it really is.
Well, I guess my question to that is, how much of that would you chalk up to just straight consumer, and how much would you chalk up to specifically the No Man's Sky incident?
Yeah,
as being misled.
At least with like No Man's Sky, the DLC was free. Like, you look at something like Destiny, I have no idea how much I paid for that game in total.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to say.
I'm embarrassed myself, man. But I played it. I played it a lot. I got quite into it, and I bought all the expansion. If I think back about it, I've probably paid maybe 3 times the price of a normal game for it. And you think, what am I doing? What's wrong with me? But
Kevin, I think it's a combination of I think it depends on the publisher. I think certain publishers, you're going to get crap no matter what. I think Activision, they're just used to delivering crap, so you're going to constantly get crap from Activision. Ubisoft, they're on this trend of delivering crap. You're just going to get it from them really, no matter what. I think that if the consumers would scale back a lot and they start seeing the dip in these pre-orders and their funds and things like that, then they would have no choice but to deliver, more quality products. So I think it's a combination of both, honestly, in my opinion. And No Man's Sky, that was just a disaster. So can't blame totally on the day one consumers.
People aren't going to stop buying the games though, so it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
And I gave that a fairly decent review, and I was going to write an opinion piece on the developer, Hello Games, but I held back because that's their fault. They screwed everybody out of their money. And I bought the game. I didn't get a code or anything. And I spent the $60. And yeah, I gave it a decent score for what the game is, but I want my $60 back.
Right.
Yeah, after playing it extensively and realizing that it went nowhere.
Yeah, and then they do the 2 patches and everything comes out now. Like, what? Why?
It's the trend, ladies and gentlemen. So, end of the day question for you guys, real quick. Just go down the line. Mass Effect, is it worth a day one purchase overall? Kevin, is it worth a day one purchase?
I mean, if you're a fan of the series and you're willing to overlook certain things, I probably shouldn't use the word overlook, but if you're fine with the facial animations, I mean, which again I don't think is truly that big of a deal. I do think it was blown up on the internet because of the EA access, and people are chomping at the bit for information. But I would say if you're a fan of the franchise and you've liked what you've seen based off of the promotional stuff and the access builds, then sure, why not? But if not, then definitely wait. There's no rush. It'll still be there 6 weeks from now when, several patches have gone through and it's running better than it currently is. So.
Okay. I can feel you on that. David, my man, the guest of the evening, is Mass Effect, in your humble yet often correct opinion, a day one purchase?
No. I mean, if you're a hardcore fan, you're going to buy it and you're not going to listen to us and you don't care what we say. But no, it's not. I don't see it as a day one, and I'll wait 6 months, go to Best Buy and pay $39 for it like I did Watch Dogs 2 and when it's on sale.
Okay. British Beef, is it worth a day one purchase in your opinion, for what you've seen, what you heard, what you don't know?
Just to echo the guys, I think if you're a fan of the franchise, go for it, knock yourself out. It's not my sort of game. I'm not really into the whole space thing. But I would say to people that are worried by this kind of trend that's happening, look at some games the big games that have come out. Look at Horizon, look at Nier Automata. They've got, probably Halo Wars 2, dread to say it. These games are complete packages, and they've come out and they are decent as they've come out, especially Horizon, which I'm playing through, which I think is a masterpiece. And I think as long as those games, and Zelda as well, as long as those games come out and they look like that, then there's faith. You can put some faith in developers that make games, and they're not all going to turn out like Trash Effect.
That Trash Effect, though.
You should use it as a title. Still think you should have used it.
I kind of chickened out at the last second. I don't know. I was trying to be politically correct and be respectful, but I should have done it. But it's all good. For me, I don't think it's worth a day one. Otherwise, I would have gotten a day one myself. But like the panel said, you guys make your own decisions. Obviously, we don't want people to be sheep or anything like that, because I'm definitely anti-sheep mentality. But I think that consumers as a whole, we just got to be better about making informed decisions and stop getting overhyped about stuff and then putting our money on this, and then we get disappointed. And by then, the damage is done. You've given the publisher your money. Once you give the publisher your money, you can cry all day like a baby on Twitter and to the gaming community and stuff. It doesn't make much of a difference at all. You've given them your money. So we got to be a little more protective with our money as consumers, I think. And, this is one of the only things I think that affect, the gaming community as a whole. Like what I play, personally, like I said before in one of our other podcasts, I think last week, gaming is a very selfish experience, but this right here is something that affects all of us at the end of the day. It affects the quality of games we get, I think. And so I just think, we need to be better about this, making good decisions about what we purchase. And when we see red flags, we take those serious and we kind of like scale back and like, okay, I'm not pre-ordering this. I'm not buying this day one. I'm gonna wait and see and make the publisher sweat a little bit, make them sweat for our money rather than giving it to them like a $2 hooker or something, man. You know what I'm saying? So,
to be fair,
it can't be that easy. You guys can't be that easy and greasy,
The thing is, right? We could have a whole discussion about season passes because that's the same thing all over again. But we'll save that for another episode. I think. I mean, because
you could have a whole entire episode on that alone.
Yeah.
Next episode, we're gonna talk about season passes, everybody. Probably not, because we'll probably forget we said it. But let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Shout out to everybody who actually joined. Saying they've stuck through the whole podcast and stuff like that. Whether you were in or out or whatever, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button. We definitely appreciate that. That is really the only way that we get paid, ladies and gentlemen, is you hit the like button. Every time you hit the like button, we get a cent. Okay, so we really appreciate that. And let's go ahead and do these outros right quick. Let's start with our guest for the evening, David. Tell everybody goodbye, David, where they can find you, all that good stuff.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it. You can find me at DVIDY on Twitter. Of course, I'm on the Tick site. You can find me there. I review games. I do entertainment. I'm everywhere, all over that site. I can do anything. And remember, we have forums. I push the forums. We got forums. Everybody come join those. That's about it.
Hashtag we got forums. Hashtag we got forums at tickgn.com.
Exactly. We need to use them.
Yeah, we do. Let's go with Kev, my man Kev. Tell everybody good night, sir.
Thanks everybody for stopping by. You can find me on Twitter at DarkTagger. That's also my PSN name. And also make sure you follow the podcast on Twitter at TrophyLife_pod.
That's what's up. Make sure you follow that Trophy Life, man. We got some, my man Kev runs that and be having some crazy gifts and just these crazy outlandish tweets. I don't know where he gets this stuff from, but make sure you guys follow Trophy Life to keep up to date on everything. Trophy Life.
We got to stay on Lynn's heels, man. We got to keep going against the Xbox fans. We got to keep going.
Yeah, I know. We got to compete. We are here. We're all Tick, but we are very competitive. You know what I'm saying? I compete with the Multiverse show. Now, I'm not stupid enough to compete with the Tick podcast yet because they've been around the longest. You guys all love them and everything, which is great. I love them too. But I compete with the Multiverse show. So, you know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys, we get more likes than the Multiverse show. We get more views than the Multiverse show. Because they are my prime competition within the Tick universe. You know what I'm saying? So, I said it. Yeah, I said I got my eye on y'all.
So you've been politically correct. And
I got my good eye on you guys. Hey, this is nice because I respect the Multiverse show. I love that show. It's an amazing show.
It's a good show.
This is healthy. This is healthy competition. You always want to strive to be better than your peers. At least I do. I'm not trying to be second fiddle to nobody, fam. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to the top. You know what I'm saying? So I can retire and get that YouTube money. You heard me?
Those patrons.
I'm about to open a Patreon out here. Yeah, I'm gonna get them Colin Moriarty numbers. 24 hours,
buddy.
24 hours, man. My skin color's light enough. Anyway, British beef.
Bro, I thought you were just gonna end it without me doing my outro. Right, thanks to Dave for turning out tonight. It was good to chat to you. And thank you to Kev and to Nick as well. And thank you to the chat as well and everyone tuning in and the Tick Nation. Much love. You can find me on Twitter at Stubbsy Viking, or you can find me on PSN with Stubbsy the Viking. Peace out, guys. Be good to yourselves.
Yeah. And once again, thanks everybody for joining. This is Nicodemus, the king of indies himself. Make sure you go to tickgn.com for all your gaming news, reviews, and great opinionated pieces. The site is really popping. Make sure you, like David said, join the forums. Make sure you sign up for the site. We're always doing giveaways, the Nintendo Switch giveaway. Go onto the site and check that out as well. But yeah, that's all we got for you guys tonight. Make sure you guys check us out. Not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday following, because this is a bi-weekly podcast right now. So make sure you come back to the Trophy Life world so we can give you some more insight on this greatness that is PlayStation and everything gaming related. We're out of here, y'all. Peace and thanks for watching. And go play some games and don't pre-order every damn thing. And stop that day one bull crap. All right, I'm out of here. We're out of here. Peace.